Well, hello everyone. We're back again for another multicultural mailer, multicultural business forum. So far, there's been plenty of great tips, and they'll just keep coming. So I just now don't forget we've got the expo tomorrow, which is one of our signature events with the big Eid, and apparently the Logan Entertainment Centre said it's the biggest event they have for the year, which is not bad for a little company like ours. But anyway, back to business, and I think I'll just hand it over to Chocket, and he's the man, and take it away, mate.
Thanks, Travis. And everybody starts small. And watch out for the Goliaths. That's what I say. All right. So our Wednesday forums are all about addressing businesses who are stuck in the income trap. You're making 300,000 a year or 3 million, doesn't matter. You basically build yourself a job. And silent suffering has become the norm. Uncertainty is the only certainty. We believe the sacrifice of entrepreneurship should be rewarded with true autonomy and wealth, not a self-made prison. So a business should serve its owner, building an asset for the future, not just creating a high-stress job for today. And that goes for businesses with a lot of staff. But it seems to be anytime things go awry, they run to you. All right. So we want to focus on today's sale, but we also want to build tomorrow's wealth instead of relying just on property, stock markets, crypto, what have you. Okay, so a little bit about us. Again, I'll just repeat a little bit. Have we built a business or just a high-stress job? If you're thinking your business is growing, but so is the chaos. It's good that you're growing, but you find yourself at the center of every big decision, pulled into solving every urgent problem. You've created a successful enterprise, but secretly, it feels like you just built yourself a high-stress, high-stakes job. And the big nagging question remains. If you were to step away for a week or a month, would the business thrive or just survive? Or would it even do that? So you're not alone in feeling this way. This is the overwhelmed owner problem, the income trap. And it's the first sign that your business is running you instead of the other way around. Let's talk about the market very quickly. So many of us are experts in our field, but when we look around, we see a sea of sameness, right? Our competitors are making the same promises, using the same language. So what's the result? Customers can't tell the difference, and that goes to clients, patients, whoever, your politicians, if you're lobbying to. So they default to the only thing they can compare, which is price. We get squeezed on margins, we're constantly asked for discounts, and it feels like we're in a brutal race to the bottom. So we know there has to be a smarter way than just working harder to sell more of the same thing. And how do we break out this trap and create real defensible value that customers will happily pay a premium for, and that our competitors can't just copy and paste? So this leads to the founder's paradox. On the outside, you might have achieved real success. You've earned the respect of your peers, and you deserve it. Even your industry respects you, and you should be proud of that. But privately, you're frustrated. You feel like the hardest working person in your own company, the one putting out all the fires, but the last one to truly enjoy the rewards of all that effort. Truth is, the demands of the business have outgrown the systems we started with. The question you're wrestling with is no longer, how do I survive, but how do I build a business that finally starts to serve my life, rewarding my work with more autonomy and freedom, not just more and more responsibility. So today, we're going to talk about the most overlooked yet most powerful asset in our entire business, the customers we've already earned. So for most businesses, this asset is leaking value every single day, and the leak is almost invisible. So your accountant won't be able to pick it up. We're not going to talk about spending more money on advertising or chasing risky new trends. Now, I love AI. I use AI heavily. So if you can combine AI with this information, God have mercy on the competitors. So instead, we're going to talk about building a simple, elegant engine inside our business, a loyalty loop that recaptures that lost value and turns it into reliable, low effort profit, all without a single dollar of additional cost or risk. So hang on to your wallets. You don't need to write a check. We're working smarter, not harder. Leave that to the competitors, okay? And it starts with a simple story about a glass of iced tea. And before I continue, this presentation is like the flagship. So if anybody comes to me and says, what can you do for my business? Or a business investor says, hey, I want to invest in a small business. What should I do with that money? This is it. These 8 things is where I always start, because unless we master these 8 things, we're just going to be chasing shiny objects, going to produce incremental results and go back to square one within 6 to 12 months. So these are the 8 things that really strengthen the business from its core. And like I said, you don't need to spend more money on advertising or marketing. And if you're new to this weekly Wednesday online business forum, you're wondering who this guy is. So let me introduce myself. My name is Shaukat. I'm all about present bank cash flow and future bank equity. In case life happens, not everybody wants to sell their business, but things happen, you would know them, especially if you're over 40. People just drop for whatever reason. Something happens in their life and they have to sell partially or fully. And when they sell, usually it's a fire sale. All their years of effort, they sell it for a song. We don't want that. Okay, so we want sales today, tomorrow's wealth. I'm not a business guru. That's why I keep using the word we and you interchangeably. I've been learning this for 23 years. I've been sharing with others, and the best way to learn is to teach, is what I've understood. So really, I do this to a large extent myself for my benefit. And while you're here, you must also benefit from me. So my background, my scenic journey, people ask me where I'm from. So yes, I've got Indian heritage. I was born in Dubai. I spent my childhood in Singapore, moved to Australia when I at the age of 10, 1988, just in time for the World Expo in Brisbane. My dad grew up in Burma. My 5 generations ago, my grandfathers kicked off businesses in Sri Lanka. Then they expanded to Japan, England, Bangladesh, India, Burma, and end up in Dubai. My own journey, one thing is coming from a business family. Another one is doing your own thing. So finished my 2 degrees at uni, got married, and I thought, hey, I don't want an income ceiling. And I went into sales, real estate sales. Joined LJ Hooker, Sunnybank Hills, top office in Australia at that time for a few months, and I moved back to Gold Coast after that. So I learned about sales, door knocking, face to face, nose to nose, toe to toe selling, wearing a tie, shirt, suit pants in the heat of bloody Brisbane summer and Gold Coast summer. Well, in Gold Coast, LJ Hooker, Ashmore, I didn't have to wear the tie. So that was one benefit. Then I moved into what I did for my second degree, which is international finance. I opened a finance business. And from there, I learned about direct marketing. How do you sell one to many people rather than one to one? From there, I taught a lot of businesses how to grow and expand without going into too much debt. After all, I was a finance guy. How to get actually funding, sometimes interest-free funding from suppliers, from big clients, from even competitors. So it's not always about going to the bank for money, who will ask for everything, your arm, your leg, and your only child. So that kicked me into consulting, increased my business acumen, and I learned and taught others to be resourceful. See, one thing is having resources, the other thing is about being resourceful. From then on, I joined the big box corporate world, telco. That's where I learned about having teams, national teams, operations, KPIs. We used to have to sell within 700 seconds on the phone. So business customers would call us, complaining about the bill. I would have to convince them I'm in Australia, and then solve their billing issue with clunky systems. And then after that, within 700 seconds, make my daily sales target. So that was the average handling time we had, 700 seconds. And from there, I thought, hey, I got bored. In 2020, I kicked off my MBA. Why not midlife crisis? And I was surrounded by the smart, really smart people. And so I went for knowledge, but what really, and frankly, for my own ego, I wanted to be the smartest person in the room. What I learned in my MBA is that the smartest person in the room is the actual room. So if you surround yourselves by really highly intelligent people, that's a point of leverage. We can't learn everything. We can't make all the mistakes. So it's the people we surround ourselves that will help us grow and develop. So if you're facing cash injection issues, or you're looking to reform your business through multiple streams of income, or you're trying to maximize the valuation of your business, trying to make 10 years of income every 3 years, turning your business into a little private equity firm. And ultimately, you are looking to enjoy autonomy so you can do business on your own terms. This Wednesday forum is for you. It's targeted specifically for you. So let's get back into, and just before we move on, once again, we want to get the legals out of the way. Bottom line is, this is generic advice. It's not specific advice. We are responsible for what we do. Okay, there's no representation or warranty on the achievement or reasonableness of any of this. So when I say it's low risk, I'm speaking generically. I don't know your situation. There's always risk. That's why I say low risk. There's always assumptions. So whatever you try, and the active word is try, test, pilot, don't change everything. Have an extinguisher, fire extinguisher handy, fail fast, learn fast, and then you grow fast, so you expand. Cool. All right. So this week's topic, again, like I said, it's like the investor's blueprint. If you're a small business investor, and people come to you and say, hey, I want money, I would make these 8 methods a condition. I wouldn't put anywhere else, right? So if I'm giving you money, these are the things I'm going to do. Otherwise, forget about it. The deal's off. And if you're a business owner, treat your business like an investment, right? Because you are buying your business every single day. So if you're wondering, what do I do? How do I escape the income trap? You're in the right place. All right. So I closed off the last point about the story of a tea, right? So imagine it's a hot day. You've been working very hard. You come inside parched, and I'm a bit thirsty. But instead of drinking this water in the water bottle, you take the time to brew a perfect tall glass of iced tea. It's exactly what you need. Just not in this weather, because it's bloody cold in Brisbane. But then you do the strangest thing. You take one small sip, just enough to wet your lips, and then you pour the entire rest of the glass right down the drain. So because you're still thirsty, you immediately turn around and go through the whole process of brewing another full glass, only to take one sip and dump it out again. So does that sound like a sane way to quench your thirst? Of course not. It's utterly absurd. So yet this is exactly how most businesses approach their marketing. They do all the hard work and spend expensive work to create a customer, to brew that perfect glass, but they only take one small sip, that first sale, sometimes 2, and then they pour the rest of the potential value down the drain, immediately turning their attention to the expensive, time-consuming process of brewing a brand new glass from scratch. So the fastest, most reliable way to grow is to simply drink more of the tea you already have. So, and elegantly, let me make sure I'm on the right track. So, an elegant, stylized treasure map is laid out on a wooden table. Okay, the map shows a journey. The starting point is labeled. So, to unlock this hidden profit, we need to embrace a simple but profound principle. No sale ever takes place in a vacuum. When a customer buys your product, it is not an isolated event. It doesn't matter if you sell what, like real estate or if you sell those really expensive industrial diggers, $15 million diggers, it doesn't matter. Like people think I'm one and done business. Sure, that's how your industry operates. Think differently. That's why you're listening to this. So, like I said, when a customer buys a product, it's never an isolated event. It is just one single step on a much longer journey. They are on to solve their problem or achieve their ultimate goal. So this is called the customer success journey. And it's your map to creating an effortless repeat sales. So think of someone starting a diet. The first purchase might be a book explaining the diet. But is that the end? Of course not. It's just the beginning. Next, they'll need cookbooks, special foods, supplements, maybe even coaching. All of these additional steps are opportunities for us to be of great service, and in doing so, generate more sales. So by understanding their complete journey, we can identify exactly what to offer them next. This is the heart of a truly effective repeat sales engine. So again, you buy a house, you call a building inspector, and they just do an inspection and they're gone. I haven't heard back from my building inspector yet. I've trusted their advice. There's a lot of things to do. They haven't kept in touch. What a waste. What a waste. What a loss. So the first method in the 8 loyalty loop, so I call it the V8 engine, sales engine, is the encore offer. I'm a huge fan of getting a quick, substantial win right from the start. So why tinker with complicated ideas when a very simple process can create a massive uptick in sales immediately? So this first method is the simplest way to do that. We're going to create a simple email offering a single best-selling product, the one that has produced the best results for us in the past, to our entire list. That includes past customers and subscribers who haven't bought anything. So they may have gone to the next competitor. Doesn't matter. It's the entire list. Let's not have any preconceived notions about our past clients, existing clients, unconverted prospects. Keep our mind open, because just like a parachute, that's how it works. So now I know what many of us are thinking, right? Because the first objection I always hear, which is you're thinking, I can't do that. My customers have already bought this product. I've already sold them a house. I've already sold them something, a one and done thing, a custom thing. I've already sold them a kitchen. They don't need a second kitchen. I'll look foolish, but just the opposite is true. The best predictor of what people will buy is the history of what they have already bought and loved. So there was a business, and I mentioned this in last week's one, that sold inexpensive digital cameras. The best seller was one particular pocket camera. When it was suggested that they offer that exact same camera, the exact one, to their entire list, they were furious. They thought it was a dumb idea. But even if a customer doesn't want another one for themselves, which is a bad assumption, because what does assume mean? As you mean. We don't want to make an ass out of you and me. So bad assumption. So if they're happy with it, the customers, there's a strong chance they'd buy more as gifts. Now, if you're selling kitchens, no, they're not going to buy another kitchen. But front of mind, top of mind, surely they know people who are looking to renovate their kitchen. You never know as well. They might be multi-property owners. Maybe they are so impressed by your brand new kitchen in the house that you installed in. Maybe they want to do it for their other houses, but guess what? Life gets in the way, they get busy. So you know what? If you sell one and done stuff like kitchen, you never know who you're talking to. They might have other places where they want to have kitchens in their own business, at work, recommendation, and their other properties. Don't just write it off. So begrudgingly, this camera shop, they ran a simple email test with offers for a single camera or bundle of 3 and then also 5. So 3 offers, single camera, 3 and 5. What was the result? In 1 week, they sold 300% more than they normally sell in an entire month. So they tripled their monthly sales in 1 week. Not bad. What would you do with that extra money? As I always say. Many of those sales came from past customers buying the exact same product again. So they thought, hey, these customers bought our cameras and they're gone, long and forgotten. You know, what's a lesson? Never estimate our customers' desire for more of a good thing. So if you truly believe your offer is good, whether it's a service or a product, truly believe it, make the offer again. Okay, so method number 2, I'm just going to check the time because we might do 3 methods today, maybe 4, and then I'll do a part 2 of this for the other 8, just to keep you intrigued. So method number 2 is the automated encore. So now that we found our single most effective promotion, our winning play, so what do we do next? We don't invent a new one, not yet anyway, right? Everybody wants to, new is fun, shiny is fun. It's not profitable. Most of the time it isn't. So we just simply run it again and again, and we run the promotion again. Think about a professional sports team. They have a set of plays that they practice and run all the time. They don't change their plays just because they've gone to different locations. They might adjust it, but the fundamental playbook stays the same. So at least 80% of what they do are these proven set plays. They don't reinvent the entire strategy every single game. The same formula works just as well for growing your sales on a systematic basis. When I say your sales, I mean my sales as well, because this is a reminder for me. So the single best way to guarantee steady growth is to repeat our best-selling campaign multiple times every year. You know, these 8 strategies I talk about, these 8 methods, this is like my bread and butter. I would stress this again. If someone says, Shaukat, what can you do for me? I'll say, watch this video recording and then talk. Because it's where I start. It's my starting point for the majority of businesses, with a very few exceptions. Still, they'll need to review these 8 methods and need to convince me that, no, this is not going to work for them. But that's a conversation elsewhere. So again, there's a common fear here. We're thinking, hey, if I send the same promotion multiple times a year, my customers will get tired of it or even angry. And I can quickly prove this wrong by asking you to think about your own real life experience. How many emails did you receive yesterday? And how many of them do you actually remember today? And then I'll ask you, how many emails did you send today? Maybe half an hour ago. The ones you sent, the one you wrote, how many of those do you remember? So forget about the emails you receive. What about the ones that you actually wrote? For most people, right, the answer is probably none. Very few say, yeah, I remember the emails I received. You're a minority, dude. Let's focus on the majority. So the simple fact is, our subscribers will not remember our emails any more than we remember. They will remember ours, right? So we will remember theirs. So it's, especially if they're sent weeks or months apart. So we've been talking about minutes or days. I'm talking about weeks and months apart. What are the chances they're going to remember that? So the only people who pay close attention are the ones who are interested in that specific offer at that specific time. Everyone else ignores it and immediately forgets it. Businesses from different industries, countries are sending the exact same email to their list once a month for 8 straight years. Can you imagine? Same email every month, 8 years. That's what you call an asset, not a campaign, an asset. And it's a sellable asset. It increases the value of a business. It never fails to get a result, and they never receive a single complaint. And then what if you did receive a few complaints? Check your bank balance again, right? Does the bank balance outweigh the complaints? Unless it's a genuine complaint. You know, if it's, hey, I'm annoyed by emails, we can always remove them. We can untag them for that campaign. So by scheduling our best promotion to go out automatically 4, 6, or even 12 times a year, we create a reliable flow of profit with no additional effort. Maybe a little bit of effort, right? You need to get it up and running. Okay, methods number 3. This next method is one of the best ways to substantially grow our sales with minimal effort. It leverages the customer success journey in a very clever way. We're going to use a simplified form of strategic alliance or partnerships. Now, when most people think about strategic alliance, joint venture, partnership, they think of a complicated, time-consuming negotiation where we ask someone to promote our product in exchange for promoting theirs. We're not going to do that. This is not a reciprocal trade. Instead, we simplify the process entirely. We approach a potential partner and invite them to let us sell their product to our list. That's it. We don't ask for a reciprocal promotion. It's just too much of a headache. By removing that obligation, we remove all the usual complications and make it an offer they simply cannot refuse. So first, we'll compile a list of all those other products our customers need to complete their journey. Remember, this is about the customer success journey. So just like we did with the keto diet example earlier. So then we approach the companies that make these products with our simple offer. Nearly 100% of them will say yes. Who doesn't want to boost their sales? After all, we're literally offering them more sales for free with no obligation on their part. And here's the beautiful bit. We get all of the reward with none of the work. Who wants more with fewer and less? Fewer staff, less cost, less operational headache. This is the way. Our partner provides an email copy for us to send because they've hopefully tested their email. If they haven't, that's another story. They take the orders, they process the credit cards, they fulfill the product, and they handle all the customer support. So all we do is send the email and collect our commissions, which are at near 100% 90 profit margin. Let's say 90-95%. Even better, we generate tremendous goodwill. Depends on how you frame it. So in a world of endless confusing choices and fake reviews and fake testimonials, we become the trusted curator who recommends only quality products to our audience. So they will thank us for it, and the loyalty will shoot through the roof. Let me see if I can squeeze this fourth one in, and then we'll pause and we'll do a part 2. So now it's about the partnership calendar. Are you ready to level up your partnership game? This method, the partnership calendar, is how you turn these one-off promotions into a regular, repeating, and passive revenue stream. It's incredibly easy to set up. All we have to do is contact a minimum of 4 companies whose products would like to sell using the same simplified partnership approach we just discussed. So once we have our partners lined up, which can often be done in just a few days, we're going to create a chain of offers that runs automatically throughout the year. Okay, here's how it looks like in practice. Let us use a quarterly schedule as an example. So in month 1, we send our subscribers an offer from our first partner. In month 4, we send an offer from our second partner. You continue this with other partners in month 7 and month 10. But here's the key. We schedule all of these promotions ahead of time in our email system, and we schedule them to repeat on the same months every year. Remember that example, 8 years in a row? This is how they do it. So this becomes a truly set and forget it system. I hate the concept of passive revenue, but this is as close as it gets. There's a business, look, and I mentioned last week as well, they're generating $800,000 a year from their own products, but they generate an additional 1.2 million in revenue from their automated partnership calendar. And because they have no cost associated with it, that extra revenue is at a near 100% profit margin. It is a wonderfully efficient way to create a reliable passive revenue stream that we can count on year after year. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to give you a preview of what next month is, and then I'm going to head to last page. So as you review the replay or read the summary notes, you may be thinking to yourself, how do I apply this to my business? Or how do I apply this to the businesses I've invested in? So you're either a business owner or you're an investor in small businesses that you have control over. Now, it's very simple. Again, it comes back to three things. It's about injecting new sales, which we've talked about. It's about fortification, multiple revenue streams we talked about. And the end results, if we do it properly, we can generate 10 years of income every 3 years, become a private equity business. So we escape owner-operator income trap to investor wealth creator without additional risk or cost. And there are two conditions. So if this is something that you resonate with, send me an SMS, MBF, Multicultural Business Forum, MBF, and we'll continue the conversation from there. That's my hard pitch. You have a great day, and we'll see you next week.